Yesterday, I published a video about some of the risks inherent in masternodes. And then at the end of it, I just mentioned a couple things about keeping perspective in terms of your overall portfolio. It's really easy once you start chasing masternode coins to end up overweighted in some low quality coins because you need $5,000, $4,000, $10,000 to get into a masternode. And if you're relatively new to investing in cryptocurrency, that could end up being like 60 to 80% of your portfolio. So does it really make sense to be that overweighted in relatively low quality, high risk coins instead of really good quality coins like Stellar or OMG or any other number of really good projects out there? So someone commented on that video, solid do your own research advice. I am really wanting to get into a masternode, but I can't see much that in my opinion is even remotely stable for less than 20,000. And while I can make an investment of that size, do I really want to take that risk? It's a tough choice. I am open to suggestions. So my suggestion is not to look at masternodes at all, but instead to look at Securenodes. And what we're talking about there is a project called ZenCash. ZenCash is been around since June, and it was a fork of Z Classic. And what they really wanted to do was truly capitalize on the idea of private transactions. Now, a lot of coins these days are privacy coins and have private transactions. Dash, ZCash, Monero, all of the forks of Dash and PivX and, all these masternode coins have the ability to do private send, and they have Z addresses, which are supposed to be private addresses. Now, the problem is that hardly anyone uses that private send feature. Now, if there were only 10 private sends in one day on that particular network, is that hard to figure out which one was yours? So that's where ZenCash is really tried to make a difference. So ZenCash doesn't use masternodes, they use something called Securenodes. And the reason that's important is that at least once a day, a challenge will be sent to your Securenode. And what will happen is a transaction for like 0.0001 ZenCash will be made privately. So it's got to receive that privately and then send it privately. There's currently about 6,000 Securenodes on the network. So what that means is that every single day, at least 6,000 secure transactions are occurring. So if you want to send a secure transaction, they've got to look through 6,000 of them to figure out which one is yours. And so if that's happening every single day, you can see that over time, it's just going to be impossible for anyone to really figure out which one of those was yours even if they knew which day it was. So just the computing power involved in cracking all of those transactions becomes untenable. So that's really kind of a cool concept that ZenCash has that no one else has. In addition to that particular feature, ZenCash also has the ability to use the blockchain to send encrypted private messages. So that's another reason why they want to have all of these transactions. So when it comes to creating a secure node, you've got to be more careful in how you create it. You can't use the lowest denominator VPS. Your VPS has to have at least 6 gigabytes of memory. If you've got a decent VPS, you can get away with 2 gigabytes of physical memory and then 4 gigabytes of virtual memory. You don't want to host another coin on the same one. It'll make you fail challenges, and if you fail challenges, you won't get your payouts. Now, I have had really great luck using OVH, using their VPS SSD2 plan, which has 4 gigabytes of RAM, and that is $671 a month if you pay 12 months at a time. Now, some people have had issues where they have trouble finding this particular plan. So what you're going to do is go to Cloud, and then under VPS SSD. And that will provide you with the plan we just showed you. One thing you want to avoid is an OVZ plan. OVH doesn't offer them, but OVZ is OpenVZ, and with those you can't create a swap file. So you're going to have to get a 6 gigabyte OVZ plan if you go that route, and they're just a lot more expensive than getting a lower one that you can add a swap file to. All right, so how much money can you make because it's a secure node on Masternode, it's not on Masternodes.online? Well, ZenCash has this particular calculator you can use. It's called zen.lebre.net. So you put in the number of secure nodes that are currently on the network, which is currently 6329. The current price of ZenCash, which we were going to use from CoinMarketCap, $45.99, and then the price of our VPS, which was $6.71 per month. Click calculate, and it gives us a profit of about $54.73 per month, and then that comes out to about an ROI of about 30% per year. Now, in the world of Masternodes, where you can get 6,000%, right, 1,000%, 800% ROI, that's not that great. However, for a project like ZenCash, which has been around for about 8 months and has been stable, and if you take a look at their growth in terms of the chart, you can see that they took off when all the alts took off in October, but they've actually held their value really well in this recent crash with Bitcoin. So they didn't bottom out like a lot of other of these altcoins did. So this is a quality project. It's actually fairly immature, all things considered, in terms of the Securenode feature. The Securenode feature really just rolled out at the end of December, and they only started making payouts within the last week. Now, what they did was they paid out everyone all the way going back to the beginning of to the December timeframe. So I've had my Securenode running since I want to say about January 4th, and even though I didn't get paid until last week, they paid out all of them going back to January 4th. So it's not as sexy as some of these other Masternode projects that promise 2,000% ROI, but I think that it's probably a better project overall. You only need 42 Zen to get into it. So even though the price of Zen is very high and you're going, well, $45, but that's only times 42. Just a quick little calculation for you. 46 times 42.2, because you need at least 0.2 Zen to feed your transactions. And that gives you 1941. So you can get the Securenode for less than $2,000, and it will return on average, at the moment anyway, $576 per year, in addition to any increases in the value of the Zen over time. Now, the thing that's nice about Zen is that it has a very low supply. There's only 3 million of them currently in existence, and there will only ever be 21 million. Even with this very low supply, what you'll see is that its market cap puts it in very good territory with some other large projects, such as Counterparty, which is responsible for about 1% of all Bitcoin transactions. So overall, I think ZenCash is a fantastic project. And if you are not wanting to do a Masternode because the good Masternodes cost too much, then I would highly recommend looking at ZenCash.